Good evening, everybody, and welcome into our latest summer edition of the Milford Informer. I am your host, Tim Coet. We apologize for the abbreviated version of the show last time around, but tonight we are back with several stories from around the community, including a long-awaited update on Milford Legion Baseball. Let's show you everything we have coming up tonight in our top stories rundown. Tonight, we'll recap some of the information that was presented at the recent open forum regarding the town's potential acquisition of the Milford Water Company. Also tonight, get a sneak peek at the latest installment of MPS Talks, hosted by MHS IT Director Dr. Matthew Joseph. And later in sports, we'll get you caught up on a busy season for Milford Legion Baseball and take a look ahead at the start of the Zone 4 playoffs. In case you missed it, the town of Milford recently held an open forum over at Town Hall. It was the first of several forums the town plans to host to fill residents in on all of the details surrounding the potential acquisition of the Milford Water Company. The forum lasted several hours as town officials, as well as a team of experts, answered a series of questions from concerned members of the community. Here is just a portion of the town's water company open forum.
We've been looking forward to getting to this point where we could send out mailings, frequently asked questions, and start tonight by having our first of a few public forums. So my hope is by the end of the evening, you get any of your questions or concerns addressed. If you do not, please feel free to give me a call or email me, and we also have a link on our website as well.
This, in a sense, began most immediately with the contamination crisis of 2009. I mean, we've talked about acquisition every time a rate case has come up over the last 35 years, but it got serious with the contamination crisis. And I don't think we need to go into a lot of detail as to that. But that got the Board of Selectmen to thinking seriously about this. And of course, that was quickly followed by the water company seeking a significant increase at like 49%, and we got it at least down to 33%. Followed a couple of years later by the water company seeking about an 83% increase, which we got down through complex DPU proceedings, down to 15%. And the Board of Selectmen at that time decided that let's get serious about this and study it and see whether or not it's something that we ought to bring forward. And that prior Board of Selectmen was the board then consisting of Brian Murray, a member of the board, Bill Buckley, who's still a member of the board, and Dino D. Bartolomeus. And I point that out because, as you'll see, as time goes by, the boards have changed. But the approach of going forward, studying it, and getting something before town meeting to make a decision on has been firm with all of these various members of the Board of Selectmen over the years.
My name is Jed Nozel, and as Jerry indicated, I'm with the law firm of Brown Rudnick. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the mechanics of the I'm going to talk a little bit more about the mechanics of the transaction. Dave Russell is going to get into the substance and really talk about the details around what we're acquiring and how the town can afford it. So as Jerry indicated, the town made an offer in the form of a letter of intent in early May. That was accepted by the water company for a purchase price of $63 million. Under the terms of that letter of intent, the town essentially would acquire all the stock and assets of the Milford Water Company, and then we would exclude all the liabilities. We built in several contingencies into that letter of intent that really serve to protect the town's interests. One of those is that we get to go through a very thorough process that we refer to as due diligence. That involves a legal review of all the company records, of all the company liabilities, understanding the company's assets, and making sure that we understand absolutely everything about the company's operations, its regulatory history, its history with DEP, and any pending litigation as well, to make sure that we don't take anything on that we certainly don't deserve to in connection with this transaction. We also, as Jerry mentioned, will go through a financial due diligence. That'll be to review the company's books. That's being done by the Lincoln Group, and the Lincoln Group is also assisting the town to determine overall the impact on the company, on the town's finances that Zach will get into in a little more detail. Jerry mentioned an engineering review that was completed by Woodward & Curran. And there are also some other features. There's an important financing contingency. So really that the town in its sole discretion has to determine if it does go through with the transaction, that the financing it can obtain through a bond issuance is going to be reasonable.
In the document, it said that the engineering review looked at the infrastructure and it rated it from fair to good. I want to know what's going to happen to the equipment that is fair. Is that going to be improved? Is that something that's going to happen within the first year, 10 years, or is it going to truly be pay as we go, which then would be kind of surprise costs for us coming down the road?
Jerry?
Yes, can you hear me on the hand mic?
I can.
Yeah, built in, and as Dave Russell has explained, and will address again if need be, the capital improvements are built into the system, the anticipation for capital improvements to parts of the system that need improvement, that need replacement. As the Milford Water Company has plans for capital improvements, and they track each other. We've reviewed the Milford Water Company's plans. So either way, the parts of the system over the next 10 years, 20 years, or any period that have to be taken care of are going to be taken care of either by the Milford Water Company or by the Town of Milford Water Department. For reasons of not having to go through the rate setting process and not having to pay a profit to investors and not having to pay other items, it's our belief and it's fairly demonstrable that the town can actually do that cheaper with its lower borrowing costs and everything else. So we're aware of the things that are identified as needing improvement. They're part of the water company's long-range plan. It'll be part of our long-range plan. And that's built into the rates that were discussed, and that's built into Mr. Russell's analysis. So that will be addressed.
At this point in time, does the Milford Water Company supply water to any other towns in the area? If so, will that continue? If not, is that feasible to pursue in the future? And if that is so, is that a possibility towards additional revenue to retire the debt in a lesser period of time?
Jerry. I'll try to handle that if I can. The Milford Water Company, at this point in time, it may be only a very small amount of water they're providing to other communities. They have emergency connections with other communities, so in case of drought between the communities, they can help each other, and we'd certainly continue to do that. But not much of their income right now is derived from sales, if any, is to sales to other communities. I know they did more of that in the past, but I'm pretty sure that's very, very limited to non-existent right now, except in emergency situations.
Are you doing, or do you plan to do, any due diligence regarding the determining a study to determine what the finite limit is on the water that we can pump out of that aquifer? We know what we can do with Echo Lake. We don't know what we can do with the aquifer, and that requires a pretty tough study and part of the due diligence for this acquisition. It can be controlled by limiting development, but again, you need to, I believe, find out what that limit is so that other boards that are considering developments can factor that into their permit approvals.
Jerry?
Yeah, I'll answer part of that, and Dave Russell will then respond also. But yes, we're well aware of that. The same limitations that are on would be on the town of Milford owning it in terms of the aquifer and the availability of water now and in the future are on the Milford Water Company. No difference there in either case. But are we looking into it in some detail? Yes, we are. That's part of what we're studying, part of what Dave is continuing to work on. The other aspect, Steve, that you were talking about really has to do with future planning in terms of the water supply and what's available and how we as a community should allocate those resources and make them available. And that's part of what we're doing here, because the community will now have input into those decisions instead of, again, no disrespect to them, instead of just a private water company. So for the first time, you'll have elected officials responsive to the people that will be able to make some of those decisions on development, rates of development, and all that.
My question is, if you intend to retain the same people to run the water company because of their known expertise, what guarantees do we have that the quality of our water will improve?
If we do this right, there's a potential to have Milford water commissioners managing the system. There's a governing body called town meeting who appropriates funds. Every one of those people will be drinking that water. It's not going to be done, it's not going to be managed by people outside. The current management system doesn't necessarily live in town. While there is a manager of the water company, there are people that are that person's boss. They're not always, it's not their grandchildren or children that are drinking that water. The attorneys that are involved in that business, they behave and act like a utility. Frequently, some of the biggest complaints I get are exactly that. So what I'd like to say to Beverly is, Beverly, if the water commissioners have to live in town and be elected, they have to drink the water, their families have to drink the water. The attorney that you see for council here in Milford lives in Milford, drinks the water, and his family drinks the water. The Board of Selectmen have to drink that water. To me, that's a major difference.
If you would like to view the Water Company Forum in its entirety, you can head over to YouTube and search our channel, My Milford TV. Of course, another Milford TV production you can find on our YouTube page is MPS Talks. We recently posted a brand new episode of MPS Talks where Dr. Matthew Joseph made an exciting announcement about new technology that will be available to Milford students during the upcoming school year.
Thrilled to announce that our school committee and our finance committee support our mission to afford our students the opportunity to utilize the most recent technology every day in class. All of our students in grades 3 through 9 next year will have the use of a Chromebook every day, and our hope is that our 6th through 9th graders will have the opportunity to bring them home each night. In addition, we are ensuring all of our schools will be fully wireless for the start of next school year, and doing that will increase our exposure to digital tools for all of our learners and educators. Our main goal as educators is to ensure the best education possible, and for here in Milford, that's over 4,000 students who walk through our door every day. And in today's fast pace of education and information gathering, digital learning technologies can enable our students to grasp concepts more quickly and fully and connect those to theory and application more adeptly. And by doing this, we'll be able to engage the learning of all of our students. That is exciting. And having that environment provides our Milford students the one-to-one digital learning devices that they're going to have, will also assist our teachers with the increase in techniques that they'll be able to use in leveraging their instruction time with the students they have in front of them. This will also facilitate the widespread sharing of knowledge, not just within the classroom, but within the school and within our community. And this environment will allow for more personalization and accessibility and blending learning opportunities for all of our students. Students thrive in situations where educational experience has been customized to their unique needs. And our digital learning will provide teachers with the tools and the opportunities to offer individual learning programs. Then, accessibility embraces the idea that the digital devices can connect learning in Milford classrooms to other classrooms in Milford. And as I said earlier, not only the classrooms in Milford, but the classes across the country, and share insights, boost our own learning and experiences, and our communication skills.
In the blink of an eye, the Legion Baseball regular season has already come and gone. Due to our softball coverage continuing deep into June and the start of our summer informer schedule, this is our first opportunity to take an in-depth look at this year's edition of Milford Post 59. Earlier this week, I had a chance to chat with Coach DeVito and several of the Milford players as they looked back on their successful regular season and began preparations for the Zone 4 playoffs and beyond.
Everyone in the Milford dugout on their feet. Here is the payoff pitch, and it's a floater over the head of the second baseman out into right field. One run comes in to score. Here comes the winning run to the plate, and diving in safely with the winning run and Milford walks off with a 4-3 victory, and Jake LeBlanc, after an 0-for-3 game, comes through with a 2-run single to push Milford in front, and they walk it off against Northbridge.
Just as quickly as it started, the 2017 regular season has come to an end for Post 59. The team played their 24th game of the season on July 11th, exactly 1 month to the day from when they took the field for their season opener in Leominster. Along the way, the team enjoyed an 18-win regular season, matching their regular season total from a year ago, and they will serve as the number 3 seed in the upcoming Zone 4 playoffs.
You know, I thought we just had a lot of different guys doing a lot of different things, which is really good. We had a lot of versatility. I thought our pitchers were excellent. You know, a lot of guys saw a lot of innings. Regular season coming in here, I think our largest guy that threw the most amount of innings was Masick at 26. It was 26, 22, 17, 14, 12. So, I mean, there are guys that saw a lot of time, and we were able to spread those innings out, hopefully keep guys fresh here coming towards the end of the year. And you know, I just think we had a really good group of kids, and I think that's the most important thing, is that they're a good group. They meshed well early, and we could see that in their play, especially early on here. You know, when we get down to the field before games, it was easy to see that they wanted to be here and wanted to play with each other.
This year's team saw an influx of new talent, with 10 of the team's 18 players putting on the navy and gold for the first time.
I mean, I was pleasantly surprised with how a lot of our younger guys really were able to jump into the mix and do a lot of things for us. You know, we had a lot of guys that didn't see a ton of time that on a lot of other Legion teams would be starters, you know, and you know, some pleasant surprises. I mean, we can go back here later in the year, see Sasitsky's no-hitter going into the 6th inning. That was a pleasant surprise. We were hoping to get 3 or 4 innings out of him and you know, go pitcher by committee. Alex Gone Friday on the hill, sophomore, has done a great job. Tyler Almeida, too, another sophomore, been able to come in, catch, play second base, DH a little bit for us. You know, just a lot of versatility with some of our younger guys, which has really helped us.
While fans saw plenty of new faces on the field this year, there were also several longtime veterans returning to the Post 59 squad, including Medway High graduate Tyler Monahan and Nipmuc alum Kyle Nocera. Both have served as important leaders on and off the field for Milford Legion.
Well, the leadership role, it feels good because you have your team around you and everyone's kind of like looking at you as like sort of a role model player. So I feel good knowing that I'm doing my job. Like, obviously the first year I wasn't as confident. I was a little anxious. The second year I kind of stepped it up a little bit, got the nerves out of the way. And this year, just everything's gone. And I love baseball, so this is my last year and I'm trying to give it my best. So the leadership role, definitely, like, I want to take that role and run with it as much as possible. So it's definitely feeling pretty well.
It felt good. It made me feel more comfortable. I definitely feel like I could just be myself, and you know, just feel like I impacted, you know, a lot of these kids to be able to, you know, make them want to play harder. And you know, I really loved how the season went. It's honestly the most fun year I've had. You know, it's a great group of guys. I'm glad to be a part of it.
The first couple years, we kind of had the same kids around forever. I mean, everyone's gone now that's been here for, what, 3-4 years? And like Coach Wynn said earlier in the season to me, Kyle, and Mike Farrell, you guys are the grandparents now instead of being the grandchildren, essentially. So it definitely feels a little weird coming in, especially being like a freshman in college now and just kind of being the oldest one on the team. More or less just trying to set a good example for these kids and kind of show them what is expected of you as you're here. Same as the older guys did for me.
It's real important to have those veterans to go with those younger guys, to bring some guys along, because, you know, those veterans are going to be replaced hopefully down the road by those younger guys that are going to have those 3 and 4 years under their belt. So those 3 older guys have done just a tremendous job for us. Those college guys, Kyle, Tyler, Michael Farrell, they're just leaders. And they go about things the right way. You know, they've been warriors for us since day one, and they did a great job for us this year.
Tyler Monahan emerged as a vital middle-of-the-order bat for Post 59, leading the team in batting average, extra base hits, and runs batted in through most of the year.
Well, I know it's for the team it feels good because I get a lot of comments on the kids out there saying I hit the ball just as hard as anyone, but the offensive part of it is personally, I'm not really a big stats person. I don't really care if I bat 450 or 250. I mean, obviously the number is nice and it like helps the team a lot the higher that number is, but what I'm into is like how the team does as a whole. Like I could care less about the home runs or the RBIs as long as my team is winning games and kind of making it into the playoffs and making it around at a state championship. So definitely love helping out the offense a little bit on the team, don't get me wrong, but I like to focus more on like winning and a lot less on myself and like personal stats.
Kyle Nocera is known for his prowess on the mound, but as he worked through elbow issues that limited his pitching, Kyle was able to provide plenty of punch in the lower part of the batting order.
I don't know where it came from because, I mean, I took 10 months off. I didn't swing a bat all year at school. So, I mean, coming in here, I just feel like, the game kind of slowed down for me, and, I just took advantage and, was able to capitalize.
This club, like I said, was very versatile. We had obviously those monsters in the middle, Wild, Monahan, and Reynolds. It's tough to find a better 3, 4, 5 anywhere around than those three guys. And, Rebello at the top of the lineup. Sanchioni was just tremendous at the top, getting on base and able to allow those guys in the middle to knock them in. And when they had opportunities, they came through. And, even some other guys, Kyle Nocera really came on late. Sasitsky, LeBlanc had great years. Dawson McMillan able to bunt for hits from time to time and using his speed on the base path. So, we've had a lot of guys really come through for us in key situations. And, but yeah, those monsters in the middle, man, it's exactly what they were. They were tremendous for us all year.
While the offense stole a lot of the headlines this season, the pitching was also solid, led by the 1-2 punch of Bellingham grad Michael Farrell and the recent Milford graduate Alex Masick.
We've gelled together pretty nicely and had 7 in a row earlier on in the year. And we beat some tough teams. We lost the teams we shouldn't have, and we bounced back right away. So it's just a good team effort all around the whole year.
With the regular season now in the rearview mirror, the team sets its sights on the Zone 4 playoff field, where the players and coaches know it will be a tough road ahead, particularly with the likes of Shrewsbury and Leominster serving as the top 2 seeds in the tournament.
Confidence is up there. I mean, we got a great team going right now. Obviously the errors happen, but we've shown that we can produce enough to where it doesn't really affect us. We're a good team. We're all close guys. We're all like best friends. And for the most part, the confidence is definitely up.
Well, for Leominster, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, so it's kind of good in a way that we lost to them both. So they might come in thinking they have it booked, and then we just come out like we haven't in the past couple times we played them.
We know we're definitely going to be able to hit the ball. We're really confident in that. We're confident in our pitching staff. And the big thing I think for us is to make sure that our defense, tightens up. And we've been getting better lately. I like the way that we've been playing with a little more confidence as this year has gone on, and hopefully we can get healthy here. I think that's the big thing, is getting healthy. We've got a lot of guys banged up. It's tough this point in the year. They're coming from the spring and into the summer, playing a lot of innings. So, we just got to come in, play our game, and just have a lot of confidence when we play. And we got a lot of confidence in our group.
I feel like any day anyone can go out and beat anyone. I don't think any of us are afraid of anyone, and I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready to lock it in.
Mother Nature has been wreaking havoc on the Zone 4 schedule over the last few weeks. After already pushing back the start of the playoffs, Milford was forced to postpone their opening game of the Zone 4 postseason due to rain on Wednesday. The team will try to get their game in against number 6 seed Wachusett on either Thursday or Friday. A win versus Wachusett would send Milford to Leominster to take on a Post 151 team that swept the season series against Post 59. A loss would set up another playoff game at Pheno, with Post 59 taking on Maine South Post 341. Of course, regardless of how things turn out for Milford in the zone playoffs, the team is guaranteed to move on to the state tournament, which will be hosted at Pheno Field from July 22nd to the 26th. We will be able to recap that state tournament for you when we're back on with our next new edition of the Milford Informer on July 28th. In the meantime, we hope to have plenty of full game coverage for Post 59 throughout their playoff run, so keep an eye out on Twitter for our Legion coverage alerts. And now let's check out this week's upcoming events. Coming up this weekend, the town of Milford will be hosting the annual Portuguese Picnic. The picnic will kick off on Saturday, July 15th, and will take place from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Saturday, and will then resume on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. The weekend promises lots of live music, traditional Portuguese food, folklore dancing, and a parade starting at 2 p.m. on Sunday. Again, the Portuguese picnic will be taking place all weekend long over at the Portuguese Club on Prospect Heights. On Tuesday, July 18th, Claflin Hill and MyFM 101.3 will team up to present the latest installment of Family Night at the Bandstand. Tuesday's concert will feature the Claflin Hill Summer Winds in a performance titled Salute to America's Veterans. As always, the Family Night at the Bandstand performances take place at Milford Town Park on Tuesday evenings from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And coming up on Saturday, July 29th, the Milford Area Chamber of Commerce will be hosting their annual Hot to Trot 5K run and walk. Whether a seasoned runner or a novice, this race is good for all. The Hot to Trot 5K will take place on Saturday, July 29th, starting at the VFW on 15 Milford Street in Upton. The event will go from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., and registration costs $25. For more information or to pre-register, log on to milfordchamber.org or call 508-473-6700.
That is going to do it for this week's show. Remember, our summer schedule for The Informer will run until the end of August. You can expect our next all-new edition to premiere on Friday, July 28th. Thank you as always for tuning in, and from all of us here at Milford TV, this is Tim Coet saying have a great week. So long, everybody.